You know, my hopes are merely that of the ordinary citizen. I mean, that we have a civil justice system that should be in place for me to get answers that I need. And I think the first disruption and denial of my normal rights occurred when they passed the airline bailout bill and capped the liabilities. That made the playing field uneven. Now, the government may intervene and say, because of matters of security, evidence can't be produced, and that's going to possibly result in a dismissal of the lawsuit. The commission has decided that they're not going to hold people accountable. Honestly, I cannot believe that. Well, I just hope sometimes some future scrutiny, when things perhaps are less distorted by the threats we're under and some of the emotion of September 11th, that somebody takes a look. I respect the law very much, and I think the rights of the ordinary citizen are extremely important and should not be simply trampled on and forgotten because of the size of the event, and that's what I feel like is happening. They say they will be specifically answered. Now, we would like to see each one answered, but as you say, they might say, well, the press statement addressed all of the issues in there, in which case I think that would be evasive. I think that they should answer every single one of our questions. There's 37 pages of questions, and they can answer. They can and they should. I just asked Richard Benvenisti what he thought of the letter, and he said he didn't read it. He didn't receive it. He didn't know what letter. So we're getting a copy made for him. We sent it to him directly. Sometimes people don't pick up all their emails. This was just this week.
Oh, just this week.
We send them many letters, a lot of letters. There was one just recently, and our press statement. And I don't know. I would have hoped that they were more attuned to us so that they would have read our emails in preparation for a hearing. I cannot explain why Richard Benvenisti didn't read it. They waste an awful lot of time on statements instead of questioning, and a courtroom does not allow long statements. It's answers to questions. So.
Thank you, Beverly. And your name again?
Beverly Eckert. Myers, of course, said we were still fighting the Cold War. He basically conceded that the defense mechanisms were pointed outward, not inward, and that's preposterous. One of the things we did here today was that they had a lot of information that there was plots against the United States, and it involved hijacking of domestic airliners. That's one of the things we heard today. So, I don't know how anybody can justify having nothing pointed, towards an internal defense.
Yeah.
The fact that Donald Rumsfeld was still at his desk, when the Pentagon was hit, just points out to total lack of coordination or some sort of huge dysfunction within the defense. The questions that we would like answered all have to deal with the failure, not all of them, but primarily today we were concerned with the idea of the failures of our country to defend itself, that there were so many gaps that starting from 8:13 in the morning, when an air traffic controller is aware that a plane is behaving erratically, not responding to, almost over a half hour later before the first building is hit, and then you add on all the lag time until the final plane hits, there was an extraordinary amount of time for the U.S. to mount a defense, and it didn't. So there was a breakdown in communication and preparedness that is just so critical for people to understand and appreciate that if we spend billions on defense and we don't have a defense, who's responsible for this?